watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's an overcast Tuesday evening here in Houston, and they have the roof closed at Minute Maid Park. But it is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against defending world champion Houston Astros in Game 2 of a 4-game set from Minute Maid here in Houston, Texas. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. The Yankees had their 9-game winning streak snap last night, and it was a pitcher's duel. Sonny Gray pitched well, so did the Yankee bullpen, but Charlie Morton and the Astros bullpen pitched a little bit better. Speaking of pitching, let's take a look at the pitching matchup in this game. It's brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. The left-hander, Jordan Montgomery, will go for the Yankees, and Justin Verlander is going to go for the Astros. 4-0 with a 1.36 in 6 starts, and if it's possible, David, a guy who's heading to the Hall of Fame is actually getting better.
He is getting better. What a trade for the Houston Astros when he came over here. You got to figure Detroit's still picking up $8 million on his salary. So you want to talk underpaid? Yeah, maybe not against the average Joe, but in baseball terms, this guy is as good as it gets. He earns every penny and then some. And yes, Michael, he is getting better. All of his secondary pitches certainly spin tighter and break sharper than they did when he was with the Tigers.
Take a look at what he's done with the Astros. This includes the postseason, everybody. 13-1, 1.55 ERA in 110 and a third innings, a 160 batting average against 21 walks and 129 strikeouts. In a word, he's pretty good. Well, speaking of pretty good, Gleyber Torres is pretty good. He's 21 years old, and he might get obscured by the fact that he's on a team of stars. But the people that matter, they're taking notice.
He's made a very good first impression, and we have to remind ourselves, he's a natural shortstop making the transition to second base, and he's making it look easy, ranging to his right, showing off the strong throwing arm right there, right on the money, and then a nice play last night ranging to his left. Gleyber Torres making it look easy on the field, but also his swing. It seems like he puts himself in a good position to hit on every pitch that is delivered to him, hitting well above 300. So that transition from the minor leagues defensively and offensively, he's made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, he's done some job. 10 for 31 in the big leagues, 3 doubles, 2 ribbies, and 4 runs scored. And in his 9 games, he's hit safely in 7 of them. Well, the Yankees have an addition today. Tyler Austin has finished serving his 4-game suspension for his part in the brawl in Boston. He'll talk with Meredith Maragovitz when we get back, right here on Yes.
back to Minute Maid Park. I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Tyler Austin served his 4-game suspension. Now he finds himself back in the Yankees lineup. He is batting 8th and playing first base. He told me earlier he cannot wait to get back out there. It's been hard watching from afar.
It's been tough. Like I said earlier today, it's killed me to not be out there and trying to help contribute to the team. But it's over with now, so we can move forward.
You haven't seen live pitching in a little bit, and you will be facing Justin Verlander. How difficult a task is that for you to come back and have to face a quality pitcher like that?
Yeah, he's a tough guy to face, but I'm excited about it. Try to come in there tonight and get some good pitches to hit and not miss them.
You've never seen him before. What is the biggest key against him?
I think not missing the one pitch you're going to get, if you get one at all. You know, it's going to be a grind all night for us, but it's going to be a fun opportunity to go out and face it.
What do you think of this Astros pitching staff as a whole? Because it's not going to get any easier tomorrow or Game 4 of the series.
They got a really good staff over there, but like I said, if we come out and try to grind them down and put together good at bats, I think good things will happen.
Austin's bat is a welcomed addition to this lineup. He's had a great start to the season. His 5 home runs and 16 RBIs rank first among AL rookies. Not to mention, he has 11 extra base hits so far this season. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, Michael Kay will be joined by David Cohn and John Flaherty. First pitch coming your way after the break.
By People's United Bank, where the technology is as helpful as the people. And by Coke Industries. At Coke, we make things that make the world better. Well, as we mentioned, last night the Yankees had their 9-game winning streak snapped with a 2-1 loss at the hands of the Astros. So they'll try to start another one tonight in Game 2 of this 4-game set. The Astros take the field. Justin Verlander walks out to the mound, and we'll take a look now at the Yankees starting lineup, which is brought to you by Lexus. Yankees come into the game at 18-10. They'll lead off their left fielder, Brett Gardner. Batting second and in right field, Aaron Judge. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, hits third. Cleaning up the DH, Giancarlo Stanton. Gary Sanchez will catch. Aaron Hicks in center. Miguel Andujar is the third baseman, batting seventh. Batting eighth, playing first base, Tyler Austin. He was 7 for 20 in his last 5 games before serving the 4-game suspension. And at second base and batting ninth, it's Gleyber Torres.
And this is who they will face tonight on the bump down here in Houston. Justin Verlander. And he's good. Those numbers, I mean, I don't need to repeat those numbers, do I? I mean, those are good. He's tough. Let's tell you a little bit more in our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Honda dealers. And he's a money pitcher. He makes $28 million a year. He's going to make that again next year. But Detroit's going to pick up $16 million of that. Boy, what a trade. I mean, that's a heist. Detroit's paying him $8 million this year on his $28 million salary. And he's a career Triple Crown winner, Flash. You know, that's the pitcher's Triple Crown. He won the Rookie of the Year award when he first came up. He won the Cy Young and the MVP in 2011 when he had a monster year in Detroit. So, you know, that's pretty rare for a pitcher to get that kind of Triple Crown. And you know what? Book him, Daniel. Get 200 innings. He's done it 11 times in his career. He's off and running. He's going to do it again this year.
Well, it's amazing how he has pitched. As we mentioned in the open, he actually is better than he's ever been, and he's been pretty great because he seems like a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yankees are 18-10, and the Astros are 20-10. Yankees have not had much luck of late here in this ballpark. Their last 6 games at Minute Maid Park, they have scored a total of 5 runs, and they have lost all 6 games. Gardner is ready. Verlander is ready. And let's do it here at Minute Maid Park. First pitch is a strike, and we're underway.
You know, a lot of the conversation after the game last night was Charlie Morton and how good he was. And then quickly you think to this game, okay, now we got to go get Verlander. It just does not get any easier and kind of leads to those numbers you're talking about, Michael, here at Minute Maid Park.
Pitch outside. Count 1-1. Many people thought when the trade that David spoke about was made, well, the Astros are taking a chance. They're going to pay $20 million a year for the next 2 years for a guy who's on the downside. Well, he has changed that narrative. That one plunks Gardner, and he's going to take first base. And he is feeling it right now. Why don't we check out the Astros defense behind Verlander? It's presented by Geico. You've got Gonzalez in left, Marisnik in center, and Springer over in right. Infield, it's Bregman, Correa, Altuve, and Gurriel. That's third to first. The veteran Brian McCann behind the plate. Verlander is on the mound. So here's Aaron Judge. Didn't start last night. Pinch hit and walked. High pop-up on the right side. It's out of play. It's been overcast in Houston today. Some rain as well. So the roof was open yesterday. It is closed today at Minute Maid Park. Verlander faced the Yankees twice in the ALCS last year. 2-0, 16 innings pitched, 10 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 21 strikeouts. One and one. Pitch game 2, complete game. 13 strikeouts, 1 walk. Game 6, he went 7 innings, also 5 hits, didn't allow a run. 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. And he was the ALCS MVP. That was a series that turned into a home field advantage series. Yankees held serve in the Bronx, and the Astros held serve here in Houston. So that puts a little bit more of a premium to have the better record in the American League. These two teams might run into each other again in October. Right now, the Yankees 18-10, the Astros 20-10. Breaking ball, strike.
And this place was loud last year in the playoffs, as loud as it's ever been here in this fairly new ballpark. I still remember playing in the old Astrodome.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and it seems like ancient times now. That was kind of a morgue, but this place came alive last postseason.
Well, that was a pitcher's ballpark, right? The Astrodome. You had to hit it twice to get it out of there. Minute Maid a little more home run friendly.
Judge could not hold up. He goes around. One away.
That's one of the big differences, Verlander as a Houston Astro than when he was with the Detroit Tigers. A lot more sliders. Used to throw curveballs, change-ups when he was in Detroit with that slider. Came over here, David, and they said, you know what, the slider is your best breaking ball. You should be throwing it more. And by the way, his velocity's gotten a little bit better.
Yes, his velocity ticked up, and you know, they really did prove it to him. They showed him the technology. They showed him the numbers and the spin rate on his slider and how effective it could be, and he bought in. And it's paid off.
Carlos Beltran, who was a teammate last year, said you would come into the clubhouse, and Verlander had 25, 30 pieces of paper from taking notes, watching video. Said he's the most prepared pitcher for a game I've ever seen in my life.
You know, I read that too, and my first thought was maybe over-prepared. And I don't know how you were, David, but sometimes the more information you get, you can almost confuse yourself when you're trying to call a game instead of watching hitters and how they're swinging against your stuff that night.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's nothing worse than getting jammed up on the mound. And if you're thinking about what you're doing instead of let it happening organically or naturally, then that's a recipe for trouble sometimes.
I thought Mike Mussina said it perfectly to me one day when I was catching him a day game after a night game. Wanted to go over the lineup before the game. He said, why would I do that? I don't know what kind of stuff I have today. Let's go to the bullpen. I'll figure out if I have my fastball, curveball, slider, change. And when I walk from the dugout or the bullpen to the dugout, I'll tell you how I'm going to get him out.
1-1. You wonder how reliable that is, because you know David could speak to this. Sometimes you have terrible stuff in the bullpen and you're great on the mound.
Sometimes it changes inning to inning. You know, we saw that with Sonny Gray and Romine talking about that after the game. Going to just one breaking ball, my curveball. Let's not throw sliders. Let's stick with the curveball, and it really served him well. That's a big pitch for Sonny Gray. You know, that curveball is something he can throw slower, around 80 miles an hour, that gives him the separation he needs. He threw it for strikes last night when he really needed it.
Isn't that the biggest difference, though? The ability mentally to say, I'm just going to drop this in for a strike whenever I need it. Such a luxury for a pitcher.
El Duque, probably one of the best I've ever seen at doing exactly that.
High fly ball on the right side. Altuve makes the play for the second out, retiring Gregorius. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 75 degrees, 78% humidity, wind, which doesn't matter, the roof is closed, 14 miles per hour. So outside it's cloudy and humid, inside it's fine.
73 degrees.
And sunny. Here's Giancarlo Stanton.
Air conditioning's blowing left to right a little bit.
Swing and a miss. Stanton 3 for 16 on this road trip so far, with 3 games in Anaheim and 2 here in Houston. Talked to Didi today about Stanton's slow start. He said, I really believe a lot of it has to do with the weather we played in April. He said, you just can't discount that. He said, it is really tough to play baseball when it's really cold. Although Didi seemed to be able to handle it, he said some players might not be able to. 0-2.
Well, I agree with Didi, but also the expectations coming to New York and the trade. And then you watch some of his swings. and the lower half is pointed towards right center field, but the upper half leaves a little early, so he just hasn't gotten it together. When it happens, it should be big numbers to follow.
Swing and a miss. Chased a 96-mile-an-hour fastball upstairs as Gardner was going. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. Yankees nothing, and the Astros come to bat. Look now at the starting lineup of the Astros, brought to you by Lexus. George Springer's going to lead off. He's in right field. Jose Altuve in second, bat second. Hitting third, the shortstop Carlos Correa. Last 13 games, close to a 400 hitter. Yuli Gurriel, the first baseman, cleans up. Batting fifth at third base, Alex Bregman. Marwin Gonzalez in left field, bat sixth. Batting seventh, the DH Evan Gattis. Brian McCann will catch, he'll bat eighth, and batting ninth. And playing center field, it's Jake Marisnick, making his 15th start this year in center.
No messing around. Jordan Montgomery is ready to go on the hill and on the season. Those numbers.
Springer takes outside.
Tell you a little bit more in our pitcher scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers, and continues to establish himself in this rotation. 4 out of 5 pretty decent starts. No left turn. Really tough on left-handed batters since his debut in 2017. He's got the 4th lowest opposing average against him, 173. Charlie Morton with the Astros is number 1 in that category, and leading lady issues, that's a leadoff hitter. 14 out of 28 have reached base.
Now it's 14 out of 29 as Springer flies out to Judge. Why don't we take a look at the Yankee defense presented by Geico. You've got Gardner in left, Hicks in center, and you just saw Judge over and right. In the infield, it's Andujar at third, Gregorius at short. Gleyber Torres plays second. Tyler Austin's back. He's playing first. Behind the plate is Gary Sanchez. And on the mound is Jordan Montgomery. Here is Altuve. To Andujar. 2 away.
Flash, that's probably the last piece of the puzzle for Jordan Montgomery, is to be able to get those leadoff hitters out to start an inning. That stat I told you about in our scouting report was really the leadoff hitter of every inning, and that's why he hasn't been able to get deeper into the games. You know, 5 innings, a couple of starts, 6 innings, but he's a battler, and he pitches out of jams very well so far. Kind of hard to sustain, though, to keep pitching out of jams.
It's only a matter of time.
Here's Correa. Missed outside. Mark Wegner is a home plate umpire tonight. Alfonso Marquez at first, Jim Reynolds at second, and John Tumpane is over third. He was very popular with the pitchers last night. There's a strike. Hitters, not so much.
Well, it's usually one side of the plate or the other. You know, a little bit off the edges. Usually it's the outside corner. But when you get a little bit off the inside corner as well.
Fly ball right center, drifting over his Hicks. He's there. He makes the play. And a 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Montgomery as the Astros go down in order. We're going to the second. 0-0 right here on Yes. Brought to you by Toyota. The Camry Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Do you think Justin Verlander would be a Hall of Famer if he retired today? Ryan Florio, too, said, I think being as dominant as he was in last year's postseason put the nail in the coffin. With a Cy Young to his name, I think he deserves to be a Hall of Famer if he retired today. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Camry Hybrid. Keep the conversation going. Gary Sanchez leads off the second, and he lines one to left field. It's a base hit. So I'll ask you guys, is he a Hall of Famer?
Not yet.
Really, not yet?
Not yet. He's in the discussion. You know, a lot of different ways to slice it. I mean, he's got the base for a Hall of Fame career. He's in the discussion now. Just based on the numbers, he's approaching 60 WAR, wins above replacement right now, and that gets you in the conversation. The average pitcher in the Hall of Fame has a little above 70 for WAR as a ranking, as a rating. So by the numbers, a little bit short. There's more to it than just numbers as well, but I think he needs a big finish to his career. The next couple of years are big.
I'm kind of surprised, David, you're talking like that, because the eye test for me says Hall of Famer, right? I mean, dominant, big moments, steps up his game.
It's hard to do it in 12 years. I guess he's got 14 years in his career. Doesn't quite have 200 wins yet. You know, 194 career wins. So yes, the base is there. If he walked away from the game now, he would get a lot of votes. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer by any means.
I wonder how much import is going to be put on wins anymore.
That's part of it as well, wins. And even the inside numbers and the metrics, any way you want to slice it and dice it. You see, Domingo Germán warming up, and that's not a good sign.
Seemed like an easy bottom of the first for Jordan Montgomery, but as David said, not a good sign. Looped into left field. Gonzalez coming in. He's there to make the play. One away. Here is Miguel Andujar.
This is a real good site, you know, baseballreference.com, Michael, and Jay Jaffe has a category he calls Jaws that gives out formulas for who should be Hall of Famers or not, both hitters and pitchers. And Justin Verlander has 58.7 career WAR, and his 7-year peak is 44.2 career WAR. Well, that just to give that context, the average Hall of Famer has about a 50.1 WAR over a 7-year peak, meaning your peak years, how high were your peaks? And usually a 7-year period tells you what your peaks were. And according to the numbers, he's a little short right now. According, you know, just comparing to the average Hall of Fame pitcher. But the base is there, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. And a couple of more good years will put him right into that category. I think you get into the conversation when you get to his point right now. He's definitely in the conversation. Needs a big finish. And I think you could say that about CC Sabathia as well on the Yankee side, that he's having a Hall of Fame push now.
There's a base hit by Andujar. Moving to second is Sanchez. Will stop right there. So a single for Andujar. First and second, one out. And Herman continues to throw. So something obviously up with Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, he's in this game. He's not down there throwing for his health. You would not get your long reliever up this early just to get work in. He's throwing with intent, and he's coming in this game, in my opinion.
You know, the one thing you can say about Montgomery, maybe the velocity was down just a tick there in the first inning, but he hardly threw any pitches.
7-pitch inning.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Tyler Austin, swinging and a miss. Now here's Montgomery's last pitches. We're trying to find what might have gone wrong. You see a little flinch there. And then
not good with the waving of the arm like that. But he kind of does that a lot anyway.
He does, but the body language was really bad there, without a doubt. You know, we get into dangerous territory when we start speculating on injuries up here without knowing exactly what the details are. But Domingo Germán warming up is the only detail we need to know right now. We'll find out more about Jordan Montgomery a little later.
Well, the thing that has to concern you is the flinch when he delivered the pitch. Kind of hunched over a little bit.
Just about the time you think maybe an eight-man bullpen is too much, and you know we got some guys getting healthy, and maybe Drury's coming back. Maybe they'll, you know, maybe we have one too many pitchers. No, we're pretty happy you have an 8-man bullpen right now. Domingo Germán has really been underutilized if you think about it. Haven't really needed him a lot. Only 4 appearances since he's been in the big leagues over 3 weeks. This matchup, Flash, surprised me a little bit. I know Tyler Austin's got some power and he's back off of the suspension list, but against this pitcher, Justin Verlander and Neil Walker on the bench, to me that's a telltale sign. Aaron Boone going for maybe the mistake, the one swing of the bat, do damage, but this is a tough matchup for Tyler Austin.
As he swings and misses. 3rd strikeout for Verlander, 2nd out of the inning.
Well, Tyler had a couple of fastballs early in the count. Wasn't able to put them in play, and then that nasty slider we were talking about in the first inning.
Swing and a miss. Nothing about Torres' game gives you pause. He can play defense. He has a great arm. Offensively, live bat. There's a strike.
Verlander in full attack mode. 9 for 9 first pitch strikes through the first time in the order, and an 0-2 count here. Really a hard-looking slider there at 90 miles an hour. We have a little different view here in Houston with the center field camera on over Verlander's left shoulder. A little unusual for what we're normally seeing. You never get a camera right behind the pitcher. It's either offset one side or the other. Here in Houston to the left.
Swing and a miss. Torres down on strikes. 4 strikeouts for Verlander. No runs. Yankees got 2 hits. 2 men left. Herman's coming in. And the Yankees have to go to the bullpen with what looks like an injury to Jordan Montgomery. Yankee bullpen first 11 games, 5.16 ERA. And allowed 7 home runs. Last 17 games, it's dropped to 2.02. The opponent's batting average 218 and just 3 home runs, and they've been very, very good, especially during the 9-game winning streak. Everybody pitched well, everybody hit well. And last night's game was no different, as the Yankees lost 2-1. So as soon as we get information on Montgomery, we will pass it along. So Domingo Germán will take over here in the second. And this will be his 5th game. 14 strikeouts and 10 in the 3rd innings. He'll face 4, 5, and 6. And Gurriel swings at the first pitch, lofts it into right center. It'll dunk in for base hit. Astros' first hit as Montgomery worked an easy 1-2-3. Herman threw 55 pitches in his last outing. That was against the Twins on April 26th. So today's the first day of May. Certainly has his rest. And a strike to Bregman.
Well, unfortunate for the Yankees in Montgomery, but it gives Aaron Boone and Larry Rothschild a chance to keep Herman stretched out, because he's probably your next option for the rotation. Your sixth best starter right now in the organization, or sixth best option currently. And that's the problem with keeping him in the bullpen up here. Is he better off here and not getting used enough, or down in AAA, ready to jump into the rotation? Well, that question's being answered tonight. No question about his stuff. The only question just about command.
Command, getting ahead, executing, right, a game plan.
Two and two on Bregman. Bregman, another one of the Astros' high draft picks, first round pick in 2015 out of LSU, second overall pick to Dansby Swanson, who was number 1. Made his major league debut against the Yankees in 2016, and he began his career 0 for 18. Ended up getting his first hit off Detroit's Mike Pelfrey, and when he got to first base, Miguel Cabrera said to him, "Congratulations, 2,999 more to go." Steve Donahue probably giving Boone the news about Montgomery. Runner goes, grounded foul. Another one of many young players who wear number 2 because his favorite player growing up was Derek Jeter.
Bregman, one of those guys last year in the postseason who really stepped up, seemed to get some big hits for the Houston Astros.
Runner goes again, 3-2. Fly ball to right field. Judge makes the play and fires in, but high. Herman backing up.
Well, one potential advantage for Herman here is that Houston has the right-handed hitting lineup in there. Reddick's on the bench, some of their best lefties on the bench.
I was surprised Brian McCann was playing in this game, right? Left on left against Montgomery, but now he doesn't need to worry about that. were talking about Verlander and all the information he pours over before his starts, and I'm thinking about Herman out in the bullpen, right? All of a sudden, phone rings, game on, no game plan, go get him. Sometimes that's the best way for a young pitcher. Just throw them right out there and just simplify. Your stuff is good enough, sinker, slider, changeup.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a great test for young Domingo Herman. We'll wait to hear the Jordan Montgomery report, but you know, he's next in line if Montgomery has to miss any starts. Think about the Yankees' depth and their rotation in the system. Young Justice Sheffield in Double-A, and Trenton throwing pretty well, but hasn't really been promoted to Triple-A yet. Talked to Tim Naring. He's kind of Brian Cashman's right-hand guy, super scout. Is going down to Trenton to watch that team after this series. Chance Adams in Triple-A and kind of struggled in spring training a bit. Still very much a prospect on the radar.
1-2 on Marwin Gonzalez.
We love that arm action on that changeup. Great action down and away, about 10, 11 miles an hour off of his fastball. Perfect separation. He kind of jumps at you a little bit selling that changeup, and that's why a swing and a miss by Gonzalez.
Swing and a miss. Gonzalez down on strikes, 2 away.
You got the full 3-pitch repertoire on display in this at bat. There's the slider to finish, and a dandy over the heart of the plate and straight down. Those ones work. Anytime you can get one of your off-speed pitches that look like it's a cookie down the middle and then goes straight down or dips down, that's a very effective finish pitch.
Here's Evan Gaddis. And there's a strike. The Verizon Fios fast pitch speed analytics shows you Herman through 95 miles an hour there.
What that speed analytics doesn't tell you is that 95-mile-an-hour fastball just keeps coming in on your hands to a righty. A lot to handle.
And Gaddis down on strikes. So 2 strikeouts for Herman as he takes over in the second inning for Montgomery. We're going to go to the third. 0-0. if only there was just a really quick way to increase spin rate. Like, what if you could trade for a player knowing that you could bump his spin rate a couple of hundred RPM overnight? Imagine the steals you could get on the trade market. If only that existed. Now what he's doing is he's throwing shades at the Astro. He's throwing shade at the Astros as if to say they know how to increase spin rate, and it was more than an intimation that they're doing it in kind of a shady way. He points to the fact that Garrett Cole, who was acquired from the Pirates, has picked up over 200 RPMs in his spin rate from one season to the next, which is really difficult to do. And what Bauer is saying is that the Astros might be using pine tar in order to increase the spin rate. Are you buying any of it, David?
Well, you know, Trevor Bauer certainly knows how to stir it up a little bit, right? Yes. Does pine tar help theoretically, especially on breaking balls? Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it for years. It wouldn't be the first time. We all have tried it. How much it matters is up for debate. Trevor Bauer's obviously very progressive, works with a company called Driveline Baseball out on the West Coast, who does all the measurements and the spin rate, and claims to have done his own experiments with pine tar and without. Has the numbers to back it up to say the pine tar does help with spin rate on breaking balls. Not so much on fastballs, but more when you get your fingers on the side of the ball and you can make the ball spin tighter with a little extra tacky feeling with pine tar. So yeah, theoretically, yeah, pine tar can help, yes. How much? Still debatable.
So how about this? Instead of tweeting about it and accusing an organization of doing it, why don't you just worry about your own spin rate and increasing that? And again, the whole pine tar thing has been going on forever. I had pine tar in my shin guards every game that I ever caught, so I would have a better grip on throwing the baseball to second base.
Well, there's always that debate that pine tar should be allowed, especially on cold nights, so that the ball doesn't slip out of a pitcher's hand. But what Bauer's saying is that the friction that the pine tar creates allows you to up your spin rate. And when you up your spin rate, your pitch gets better, as David said, particularly your breaking ball. And also, if he really felt that was the case, wouldn't you just tell your team, and when they face the Astros, you could bust them on it?
Yeah, it's curious as to the forum he chose, and I agree with you, Flash. Why? I thought Alex Bregman on Twitter had a great comeback. He said, "Relax, Tyler. The World Series balls spin a little different."
I like it.
Purposely using the wrong first name, so a little snarky right back at you.
Tried to bunt with 2 strikes, and he fouls it away, so that is a strikeout. That is an odd choice by Gardner. On 3-2, he tried to push the bunt down to third baseline.
Well, I'm sure a lot of things going on here. Brett had a hit last night, but he's been scuffling a little bit, and Bregman was all the way back and playing shortstop. So obviously, if you get this bunt down, it's going to be a base hit. But with 2 strikes, obviously, if you foul it off, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, risk reward, right? Yeah, execution. Tough pitcher.
Tough pitcher had a lot to do with it, I'm sure.
And leading off the inning as well. Rod Carew used to do that with 2 strikes, one of the best ever. Brett Butler bunting for base hits.
One more note on the Bauer tweet. Lance McCullers Jr. also answered him, essentially saying, you know, you're better than that. He said, and look at my spin rate, it's awful. And I've been pitching well. And Bauer, you know, kept coming back, and you know, I'm not accusing anybody of cheating. Well, you are. Pine tar is cheating.
Insinuation, yes. And just a question, one question, why?
Now, you guys can speak to this better, but it almost seems like the umpires and the pitchers almost have a wink-wink agreement now Michael Pineda had it shimmering on his neck at Fenway Park, and then the Red Sox pointed out they had to throw him out. Well, I think that they know that pine tar is involved for better grip. Judge lofts one to shallow right center. Catch is made by Springer for the second out. What did Aaron Boone have to say about this, Meredith?
Well, Michael, he didn't really put much stock into Trevor Bauer's comments. He simply said sometimes you have to give credit where credit is due. He believes the Astros organization has been really good at taking already talented players and making them get to the next level. He said he's not reading into the comments. He hasn't noticed anything throughout the course of watching them, covering them, or even the first game of this series. He said they're also very good game planners in Houston. They have a nice job of kind of addressing deficiencies, also enhancing things that guys do well. A.J. Hinch was also asked about this, and he commented, I do think people need to sweep their own front porch and deal with their own situations rather than throw accusations that are unfounded.
You know, Trevor Bauer did clarify later on Twitter. Yeah, that's where we go for our news, right? Twitter. So he did say, you know what, I'm not accusing anybody, but I am calling out Major League Baseball to either allow it or ban it. You know, this in-between wink-wink thing, you know, he explained that was his intention. So, you know, in Trevor Bauer's defense, I think that's what he was trying to get at was, yes, it does help. Why don't we go ahead and let everybody use it? Stop trying to hide it. You know, there's a famous story with Lou Piniella when he was the manager with the Yankees, and George Steinbrenner wanted him to call out another pitcher who he thought was cheating, and Lou said, I can't because my guy's doing the same thing. So, you know, Lou tells the story a lot better than I just did, but, you know, you get the gist of it.
Hey, listen, we saw one of our good friends from the Yankee days, Mike Stanton, is here doing some TV work for the Houston Astros.
There's a bunt, and that's going to be a base hit. So against the shift, Didi Gregorius, who was 0 for 12, and that was following the curtain call home run he hit in Anaheim, breaks that schneid with a bunt single.
Yeah, when it works out, it's a really, really good play, right? And obviously Bregman playing all the way at regular shortstop depth. All you got to do is bunt it hard down the third base line, and you're going to get a base hit, get rewarded for it. But getting back to Mike Stanton, when I used to warm him up in the bullpen for the Yankees, and I told him I might talk about this tonight, he said go for it. He had so much pine tar on the baseball that it was tough to throw the ball back to him because it was so sticky. And obviously when he went into the game, I'm sure some of that pine tar was still on his fingers, and he had no problem with that being told today.
Very quickly, we just get an update on Jordan Montgomery. He left the game with left elbow tightness. He's going to return to New York tomorrow to be evaluated by team physician Dr. Christopher Ahmad.
It's like the old line from Casablanca, the famous movie, right? I'm shocked. I'm shocked there's gambling going on. You know, it's the wink, wink. Look the other way.
You know what, David, we might have jinxed Jordan Montgomery before the game. We were talking about him, and durability was one of the things we were saying, right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, a little left elbow tightness.
Oh, 2 on Stanton. He struck out in the first inning. Gregorius leads off first. 2 men out here in the third. 0-0. Swing and a miss. Chase the pitch upstairs, goes down on strikes. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left to go to the bottom of the third. Wars night. There'll be a special Star Wars theme throughout the night and appearances by some of your favorite Star Wars characters. In addition, the first 40,000 guests in attendance will receive a special Aaron Judge Jedi bobblehead. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. And may the 4th be with you. So Larry Rothschild has another thing on his shelf to worry about. Jordan Montgomery leaving the game with left elbow tightness. So in his mind, he's thinking, get through this game, and then what do you do after that? There's Brian McCann. And Herman, who worked a scoreless second inning in relief of Montgomery, deals outside. Boy, what a flattering story in the Houston Chronicle today about Brian McCann, how the pitchers on the staff absolutely swear by him. And they cannot believe his level of preparation as he skies one to left field. One away. And Jeff Lunau, the GM of the Astros, said he fit in right away. When the trade was made, they embraced him, and the pitchers loved to pitch to him.
Well, he's always been such a professional player, Brian McCann. Everywhere he's been, his reputation speaks for itself. And Jeff Lunau's had a pretty good run here for a couple years.
And Brian spoke about how it was a tough call for him to even allow himself to be traded. He said, but when Gary came up, I knew the future for me was not behind the plate, and I felt I still had a couple of years of catching in me. He said, so that's why the trade worked out great for me. He said, I loved it with the Yankees, and I really like it here as well. And, you know, it's just passing the torch. Gary Sanchez became the catcher.
I give Brian Cashman a lot of credit, right? Trading him to a really good team and a good opportunity to win a championship, which he obviously did. But whenever I watch Brian work with a pitcher, you can tell that he's in it with that guy, right? And I think that's probably one of the greatest compliments you can give to a receiver, is that he's out there with you, David. If you're throwing to him, you feel like he's got your back.
Yeah, he doesn't take his offensive at-bats behind the plate.
Yep.
And one of the quotes in the story was that he gets as upset when a pitcher gets hit hard than the pitcher himself, because he feels he's a part of it. 0-2 on the number 9 batter, center fielder Jake Marisnick. Gets a piece to stay alive. Count 1-2 on Marisnick. One away. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout for Herman.
Well, it has got some good depth, this slider from Herman. Good speed, good depth.
Watch Herman mechanically. He doesn't do a whole lot with his glove arm, his lead arm. It's kind of low. And he's got that short arm delivery that kind of just jumps at you.
Line drive, knocked down by Andujar. Scrambles after it, sets and fires, but not in time. Springer will reach.
First hard hit ball from Springer here, and there's that slider, David, that was up a little bit. Springer thought that Andujar was going to make the play and just kind of got locked in the batter's box. Getting back to Herman's mechanics, usually a pitcher will use his glove almost as his direction towards home plate, and Herman kind of has that lead arm down low. I wonder if it opens up how a hitter can see the baseball. You know, maybe doesn't give him as much deception as he could have.
Yeah, that's part of it as well. He's definitely got a short arm delivery, what we call almost a reverse W delivery. Kind of leads with his elbow on the way back in the takeaway. Creates a short arm action as well. Could work both ways.
Ground it. Foul. Just foul. John Tumpane took his time. And he calls it foul.
That's a foul ball, but you know, it's incredible with Altuve. Last night we were talking how he really dives towards first base almost, but he's able to keep his hands in and be able to pull the baseball. With a Herman fastball running in on him, almost kept that ball fair.
Springer, the line drive to Andujar, was scored a hit. Second hit for the Astros. Gurriel with a single right center leading off the second against Herman. The 0-2. Fly ball, shallow center, coming on is Hicks. And he makes the play on the run for the final out of the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. 3 in the books in Houston, 0-0. The 5th Yankee since 1990 to finish 2nd in the AL MVP voting. Who are the other 4? Didn't Jeter finish 2nd once?
That's a good guess.
There's Gary Sanchez.
Donnie Baseball in there?
1990.
Since 90, yeah.
I think his was 87. Well, he won. Audi scoreboard, 0-0. I'm sure, although he won one, Alex might have finished 2nd once. Ground ball. Correa. few Hall of Famers in that picture right there. You got Bagwell, you got Biggio, you've got Reggie, you've got Nolan.
3 hitters, 1 pitcher. All 3 of those hitters got buzzed by Nolan at one point or another during their career. Got a bow tie.
Remember last night I said Jeff Bagwell hit 309 in the Florida State League? Our head of research, Jeff Quagliata, corrected me. It was 310. My bad, Quags.
It didn't change the essence of the story, though, that he was very confident and came through.
That I was going to hit 300 is
Right.
what Jeff Bagwell said in the Florida State League. And not only did he hit 300, he hit 310. Then hit 330 the next year in Double-A, then was traded to the Houston Astros, and now he's a Hall of Famer.
Larry Anderson.
That's Boston's version of the Jay Buhner trade, right?
Mm-hmm. Or the Tiger trade for Doyle Alexander and John Smoltz.
David, you ever face Nolan Ryan?
Yes.
You hooked up against him?
I did. Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott, 2 real tough right-handers back in the day in the mid-'80s. Nolan was tough. You would start grunting louder and louder throughout the game when he got loose. He was one of those guys that you knew he was going to throw 135 pitches or more, and he didn't really get loose to about 75 pitches. Then he'd really start grunting louder.
Hicks down on strikes. Did you ever put the ball in play against Nolan?
Might have fouled one off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to face him my rookie year, and he got scratched from the start. And I was disappointed. I wanted to be on that list, that strikeout list.
That strikeout, the 7th Yankee strikeout tonight. They had 14 last night. So 21 strikeouts in 10 2/3 innings for the Yanks. Came out today on May 1st that April was the first month in the history of baseball that there were more strikeouts than hits. And that's baseball today. Knee buckling breaking ball. A little lean by Andujar. He goes around, and Andujar is down on strikes. Yankees go down in order here in the 4th. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. now see him working. This date in 1991, at the age of 44, Nolan Ryan throws his 7th career no-hitter, beating Toronto 3-0. 7 no-hitters.
44 years old. That's crazy.
And you think about that, you think about Bartolo Colon nowadays.
Strike to Correa from Domingo Germán.
At 44 years old, Flash. I was shooting about 98 on the golf course, trying to learn how to play a new game.
Audi scoreboard 0-0, bottom of the 4th inning. Three and one, Correa, Gurriel, and Bregman here in the 4th against the young Yankee right-hander. On in relief of Jordan Montgomery, who left the game after 1 inning. Tightness in his left elbow. And Correa walks. All right, we gave you the trivia question. Aaron Judge was the 5th Yankee since 1990 to finish 2nd in the AL MVP voting. Who are you on the 4? We figured Derek Jeter. How about Gary Sheffield? Could he be in there? Mark Teixeira and Tino. Good question. Bad music. Here's Gurriel. And there's a strike.
Forgot about Tax at 09. I've said this a lot, Flash. I think that championship Yankee team of 2009 was one of the best. Or certainly, you know, it's hard to rank when you have 27 World Series titles. But the first year in the new stadium, you know, they went right over and christened that new stadium with a World Series championship. That's just was so valuable in my mind to be able to do that. That team, that 09 team.
Just missed. It certainly was probably one of the most important, as David said, to move into a new ballpark and get a championship out of the way where you didn't have to hear, well, there's a jinx because you left that hallowed old real estate. And then they won the first year. Base hit to left field. First and second, nobody out here in the 4th.
So Gary Sanchez out there giving the signs to the middle infielders. Probably for a bunt defense. I'm very doubtful that they'd have Bregman bunting here.
Fly ball right field. Judge is there to make the play. Runners stay put, one away. Here's Gonzalez. He struck out in the second inning. Correa at second. Gurriel is at first. No score here in the fourth inning. Yankees have 3 hits against Verlander, and the Astros 3 hits against Herman.
Gonzalez striking out against Herman looked bad on everything. The changeup, the breaking ball.
A tough spot for Gregorius here. We showed that defensive alignment. He's got to stay close enough to the bag to hold the runner.
Did he go? Yes, he did, said John Tumpain.
Not picking up the spin on the slider down and in. He took a changeup for a first pitch strike. Gary Sanchez, really no reason to go to anything except that breaking ball down and in when you see a swing like that. Good pitch, good take. Better take, I should say. The mind games start being played during an at-bat, a couple of at-bats, right? He's looked bad on breaking balls, bad on changeups, but the last 2 have been really good pitches, and he was able to hold up. So you start thinking, if you're a pitcher catcher, he's seeing the ball a little bit better. Maybe I have to throw a fastball. Maybe I have to do something different. And Gary Sanchez is going to go out and have a talk about it.
Well, my thinking exactly, Flash. The inside corner always has to be a threat. When you see hitters taking off-speed pitches down and out of the zone, especially when you're ahead in the count, but you've got a shot to freeze them on the inside corner if you can execute.
Just a little bit I've seen of Herman. It seems like he's more comfortable going to the outer part with his fastball, right, than the inner part on a lefty.
That's the ultimate question. Can you thread the needle on the inside corner? Can you throw that little Greg Maddux swing back pitch? If Herman gets that one in his arsenal against left-handed batters, watch out. The movement is there, is the command there, is the confidence.
3-2.
Really good at bat from Gonzalez, down 0-2 to fight all the way back now, 3-2. Five straight off-speed pitches.
Correa off second, Gurriel off first. 3-2 count on Gonzalez with 1 out. Right back to Herman. There's one on to first. It's a double play. A 1-6-3 double play as he gets out of the inning. No runs a hit and 1 man left. Let's go to the 5th. 0-0. the game. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Montefiore, doing more, and what a blow for the Dodgers. Corey Seager is going to have Tommy John surgery, out for the remainder of the year. Two-time All-Star, 2016 NL Rookie of the Year. Tyler Austin with a fly ball to left field. And Gonzalez puts it away. And now there are rumors out there. Dodgers off to a bad start. Will they now be players for Manny Machado?
That's an interesting debate, and that could be a good landing spot for him.
They have the young talent to get him from the Orioles. Would the Orioles part with him?
How about luxury tax and all of those things?
Well, they're under it. I'm not sure. That's a great question, John, if that acquisition will put them over. GMC scoreboard, 0-0, top of the fifth. I know the Yankees are under to a level that if they want to acquire a top-flight pitcher by the trade deadline, they are not in danger of going over, and that was part of the plan. Dodgers have lost Justin Turner. He hasn't been there at the beginning of the season, so an injury to him. So the whole left side of the infield, and they're off to a bad start.
And they're pulling players off the field for not hustling. Just a lot of things, like they're spinning their wheels out in LA.
The 0-2. Torres pops it up. Right side, Springer in foul territory, runs out of room. Kenley Jansen not as automatic as he's been. Fifth inning of the second game of this four-game set. Astros won last night 2-1. It's 0-0 here in game two with one out in the fifth. And Verlander deals. And another strikeout, gets away from McCann. And the putout is 2-3, 2 away. Verlander has been Verlander, David.
Well, yes, dominating. And he has been nothing but dominating since he's put on this Astros uniform. And high fastballs in the mid-90s and a razor blade slider. We've seen that slider in the upper 80s up to 90 miles an hour at times. That is kind of the big difference. He's got 9 strikeouts here in 4 2/3 innings, and a lot of them on those sliders. And there's one curveball down in the lower 80s.
Pitches upstairs to Gardner. Last time up, Gardner tried to bunt with a 3-2 count. He bunted foul and struck out. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning.
You know, another thing the Astros have done with Verlander was it's not just always about spin rate. You know, you hear me talk about spin rate a lot in new metrics or analytics, but they really showed his release point was a little lower than it needed to be. And showed him video of his Detroit days. And when he got on the technology bandwagon and they showed him how consistent his release point could be a little bit higher with that slider, the light bulb went off for Justin Verlander. See, he's really on top of the baseball, driving that slider down.
Strike one, 3-1.
You see right there, the slider usage more than double than previously with Detroit.
Well, you talked about that last night, right? Sometimes pitchers get caught in between a curveball and a slider, and they lose a feel for both of them. Verlander, obviously, with Houston going more with the slider, it's become a devastating pitch.
When you get a chart handed to you as a pitcher nowadays with your release point, sort of a dot system across the grid, and you see exactly where your release point is and where it used to be and where it is now, and you make the adjustment, and you see results, boy, that's an instant buy-in. Like, I'm a believer.
Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes. Verlander has retired 7 in a row. We're halfway through. It's 0-0 on yes. This is Ricky with the A's. And then he really steals the bag. And he speaks to the crowd and says, I am the greatest. Ricky was great. I didn't say he was humble, but he was great.
Well, with Reggie Jackson in the house, it kind of reminds you of the line, right? It ain't bragging if it's true. It certainly was true with Ricky.
And that was the same day as Nolan Ryan's no-hitter.
You know why he was the greatest? Because you knew he was running and you couldn't do anything to stop it. He would get in your head.
Tremendous technique, Ricky Henderson. Always got his body in movement, always kind of like a shooter on the move in basketball.
See the GMC scoreboard, 0-0. Bottom of the 5th. First base umpire Marquez says he went around. That record's probably not going to be broken. They don't try to steal many bases because they want runners on when home runs are hit. I think Brett Gardner has 1 stolen base this year. That last strikeout for Verlander was his 10th. So back-to-back double-digit strikeout games by a starter against the Yankees as Gaddis hits one to left field. And our very own Seth Rothman of Yes said the last time the Yankees had back-to-back 10 or more strikeout starts against them, you have to go back to June 7th and 8th of 2003. And Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor did it for the Cubs.
Maybe 2 of the most promising young right-handers in modern history that suffered injuries. Yep. Didn't pan out the way you thought it was gonna work for the Cubs. 2 dominating young right-handed starters. I think the Astros last year, all of last year, had 9 games from their starters with 10 strikeouts or more. They've already surpassed that total here in 1 month.
This is becoming a place that before you come here, you're looking to see who you get lined up against. At the old Atlanta Braves, Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine.
Right to Torres playing on the outfield grass. He gets McCann. Well, the only big starter the Yankees miss in this 4-game set is Garrett Cole. That's going to bring up Jake Marisnick.
Armand doing everything that the Yankees are asking of him tonight, throwing up zeros, hanging in there with Verlander. You just wonder how far they're going to stretch him out.
That is the big question, right, Flash, right now. And enough, they're going to stretch him out enough so he can make the start when the slot comes again next time. And
popped up, long run for Torres. Also coming in as judge, and the ball drops. It's going to be a double for Marisnik.
Well, it's a long run for Aaron Judge, and Torres going out. Looked like he pulled up maybe a little bit early. You wonder if Aaron Judge was calling for this. Then you see Torres just trying to get out of the way right now as Aaron Judge lays out. Obviously tough for us to tell if Aaron was calling for it. It's going to be ruled a double.
It's a pretty good policy to get out of the way when that guy's running at you.
Tough to blame him for that. Always felt like these were big tests for a young pitcher. You get a lazy fly ball to right field. You think you're out of the inning. You think you're going to be in the dugout. Now you have Springer up there with his 19 RBIs and a runner in scoring position.
Line to single off the glove of Andujar his last time up. First pitch outside, 1-0.
Well, Domingo Germán showed great poise last inning.
Yep.
First and second, nobody out. Got the first out on Bregman on the first pitch, fly ball to right, and then got the big double play ball to get out of it. So made a lot of good pitches under duress last inning. And test it again, Flash. You're right. Again, right here.
Chad Green's up. Three and 0 on Springer with Altuve on deck. And a strike.
Well, Germán kind of driving the bus there, shaking Gary Sanchez off to get to that 3-0 changeup for a strike at the bottom of the zone. See, Germán's not afraid to call his own game.
Yeah, it's nice to see a young pitcher have confidence in a changeup as well, that I could drop it in there for a strike. Another one.
Sometimes a pitcher gets a feel on the mound, and Germán has that right now. You know what? I like that last changeup. Let's throw it again, back to back.
You throw 3 in a row?
The ultimate question, yeah. If it's high quality, you can.
Always had that little guy on my shoulder saying you can't call 3 in a row. You got to throw something different. Sometimes you can.
Germán shaking Sanchez off again.
He could not hold up. He goes down on strikes, and a solid 4 innings for Domingo Germán. Will go to the 6th, still looking for a run.
impressive. And this pitch per pitch, last inning, slider, being very careful. 2 outs, man in scoring position. Yanks that fastball. 2-0, now 3-0 with the slider. Now let's come back with a changeup right at the bottom of the zone. Double up with it to get a swing and miss. Now what? Slider, what a comeback. All the way back from a 3-0 count. Domingo Germán, a shot in the arm.
Judge takes a strike from Verlander, who has 10 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 hits to the Yankees. Astros have 4. Judge against Verlander lifetime is 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts. And Aaron has not had a good road trip. He is 3 for 17. It'll be Judge, Gregorius, and Stanton. Two and 1. The average exit velocity for Aaron Judge is 96.7, slightly behind Nelson Cruz. Exit velocity presented by Spectrum Internet with faster download speeds and better performance. So the count 3 and 1. And the pitch. Strike 2, 3 and 2.
You know, it's great stuff from Verlander, but there's also an attitude, right? A 3-1 fastball down middle comes right at Aaron Judge, gets the call. Not afraid to challenge hitters.
Judge kind of played that off. Thought it was ball 4.
Strike 3, Judge down looking. Took a fastball right down the middle.
There it is again. I mean, the attitude is, I'm behind in the count, no big deal. Here's 2 fastballs, middle down. See what you can do with it. Can't do anything.
He's got Judge talking to himself. Got him guessing, thinking that was going to be a slider.
John, Paul O'Neill always talks about you can't be off the fastball, especially with 2 strikes. Was he guessing something other than the fastball there?
Well, it could have been, but you know, Aaron's not going through a great stretch right now, so you wonder if he's maybe guessing a little bit more than he was. But listen, this is Justin Verlander throwing 97 with a nasty slider. So, yeah, you're going to be guessing a little bit. You're going to be thinking.
You know, the vast majority of time, he would get a slider on 3-2,
yeah.
But Flash is dead on. Justin Verlander, he's a different breed.
Now, the interesting thing, though, I don't know if you would agree, John, if he throws a good slider, you're not hitting it anyway, even if you guess.
Well, also, if he throws a good fastball, you're probably not hitting it either if you're guessing. You know what I mean? If he locates it down and away. Those are middle. But listen, Aaron may be going through a little tough stretch right now with a guy who's throwing the ball as well as anybody in the game. But I'm just impressed with his attitude, right? Great stuff, but great attitude. I'm going to challenge, I'm going to attack, and I think my stuff is better than you. And he works fast. What else, David?
He's a gazillionaire with a beautiful wife. But
all right.
Is that where we're going here? But the competitiveness, yes, it cannot, you know, be underestimated here. And you're once again, Flash. I mean, there's a presence on the mound. Supremely confident. He's 35 years old. Kind of resurrected his career. Michael made that point earlier when the trade went down with Houston that there were some that thought he was in decline. It was a bit of a gamble on Houston's part. Well, he picked it right back up. And in fact, some ways is better than ever as Chad Green is up in the bully.
High fly ball, right field. Springer puts it away for the second out. This season, put the pinstripes in the palm of your hand Stream Yankees baseball on Yes using Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Now here's Giancarlo Stanton, who of late has really had a hard time laying off the high fastball. And when he swings it, he swings through. He struck out twice so far tonight. .97 miles an hour, 0-1.
You can see Giancarlo, when he finishes his swing off balance, falling a little bit towards third base. That's not going to help you catch up to that fastball.
Just rearing back and challenging the Yankees' best hitters.
Just elevate a fastball right here at 98, right?
Almost Nolan Ryan-like. His velocity is increasing here on the 82nd, now 83rd pitch coming.
As if he goes up the ladder, which has been the formula. That one was not up, and Stanton makes contact with a fly ball to right. Springer puts it away. And Verlander has retired 10 in a row since the bunt single by Gregorius. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Your game day at 7 with Audi batting practice today and the Chevy Yankees pregame. Then catch all the action as the Bombers battle the Astros right here on Yes and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Seen a lot of good pitching so far in the first 2 games, and tomorrow more of the same. Dallas Keuchel not off to a Dallas Keuchel sort of start, 1-4 with a 4.0 ERA. Luis Severino 4-1, 2.61. And our coverage is going to begin at 7 right here on the Yes Network. That's a great matchup. We are here in Texas, where we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 0-0. And Chad Green will take over for Domingo Germán, who certainly did his job. See the numbers on Green. Jordan Montgomery started for the Yankees, left after 1 inning with tightness in his left elbow. He's headed back to New York to be examined by team physician Dr. Christopher Ahmad. Altuve swings and misses as we start at the bottom of the 6th. Altuve, Correa, and Gurriel. Altuve with a grounder to third and a fly ball to center. And a strike from Green.
And you mentioned it, Michael. 4 scoreless from Domingo Germán. Gave up 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and really showed good poise, pitching out of a first and second nobody out jam. Got up to 61 pitches, so yeah, he's pretty close to stretched out. And, you know, you hope for the best with Jordan Montgomery and whatever the doctor says, but Domingo Germán is lined up now to step in and fill in for Montgomery in that spot.
Swing and a miss. Altuve down on strikes, 1 away. So Altuve is 0 for 3.
Big sweeping slider. We're so used to seeing Green pumping fastball after fastball. Altuve's amazing, though. I mean, he's got all these moving parts and is so aggressive and still has the high batting average.
Tremendous eye-hand coordination. Or hand-eye, whichever you prefer. The eye comes first.
Thinking back to Herman and his 4 shutout innings. I mean, that long reliever, when he comes out of a bullpen and is able to throw up zeros like that, obviously it fires up your club and gives you a chance to stay in it and hopefully win it.
Ground ball up the middle. Torres makes the play for the second out.
Obviously against Verlander a little tougher, but Torres with that throwing arm, a shortstop's arm. Saw some plays last night showing some good range, going to his right, plant on the back foot, no problem.
Effortless range. I mean, he was pretty wide of second base on the right-hand side of the bag and ventured all the way several steps on the left side of the bag and made it look easy.
For Gurriel, he's directly up the middle, where his left foot is on the second base side of the bag and his right foot is on the shortstop side of the bag. Lined right on one hop to Austin. He'll take it himself, and Chad Green works a 1-2-3 6th inning. Still looking for a run in the Lone Star State. Can't even get a lone run. We go to the 7th. Every match live and over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. Verlander has been solid, more than solid through 6 innings, allowing just 3 hits and no runs. Gary Sanchez will lead it off. His Cadillac scoreboard, 0-0.
David, you talk a lot about pitchers moving to one side of the rubber or the other, and you watch Verlander, he's right down the middle.
Very traditional. favoring the third base side just a bit. But, you know, when you see a pitcher, as you said, almost directly in the middle of the rubber, you're seeing a guy with pure mechanics that doesn't throw across his body, that's going to drive right through the target. Let his natural movement take over. See where he lands as well. Almost directly in line.
Perfect, right? Yeah.
That's the most important thing that dictates where you should pitch on the rubber is where you land. Where you land tells you everything you need to know, and coming at you right in your living room. There's no crossfire there. I mean, he drives right through his target. His lineman is pretty straight.
You love how he's over the front side of his body, right over his front leg, driving right towards home plate.
Very stiff front leg, but very firm. Pitches against a firm front side, which helps speed up your arm.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez down on strikes.
Another one of these razor blade sliders that I don't think anybody in the world can hit. Not when it's thrown like that there.
And when you're thinking there's a possibility 97 is coming at me as well.
Like to get him out of the game. The problem is he's only got 87 pitches right now.
12 strikeouts, has not walked a batter. Here's Aaron Hicks. Shift is on. Foul back. Verlander standing on the mound in an Astro uniform is proof positive of every second counts. The Astros were 2 seconds short of the trade deadline where they would not have been able to make the deal and get him on the postseason roster. 2 seconds before the deadline, the deal was approved by the league. And the Tigers had to send 2 of their staffers to Verlander's apartment to have him sign documents to waive his no-trade clause. High fly ball, right field. Springer puts it away for the second out. The Astros GM Jeff Lunau was trying to get the deal done before the August 31st deadline, but he was displaced by Hurricane Harvey. He was staying with his in-laws in LA, and it turned into a mad scramble to get everything ironed out with Verlander and the Tigers, and it finally did, and it paid off. It got the Astros and Verlander a World Series.
It's a great story, Michael, and you know, on top of that, they have him for another year. You know, I mentioned his salary of $28 million this year. They have him next year at that same rate, only with a little help from Detroit. $8 million kicked in both years.
And Verlander was not so sure he was going to waive his no-trade clause. He'd only known Detroit and thought of himself as a lifetime Tiger. But the opportunity presented itself, and he finally agreed with 2 seconds to spare. Might be the most important 2 seconds in Astro history. Count 1-2 on Andujar. He has one of the 3 hits against Verlander, a single to right, and he also struck out. So 12 strikeouts for the Astros right-hander. 0-0, we're in the 7th. Two. Swing and a miss. 13 strikeouts for Verlander. He has retired 13 straight. Time for the 7th inning stretch. 0-0. nothing here on the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Yankees have 3 hits, Astros have 4. Domingo Germán did a great job coming out of the bullpen after Montgomery left the game after the first inning with left elbow tightness. He put up zeros. Chad Green's now in. Justin Verlander 7 zeros with 13 strikeouts, has not walked a batter. Not many opportunities with runners in scoring position. Yankees 0 for 2, the Astros 0 for 3. So Chad Green went 1 inning, and now it is Dellin Betances. And he'll deal to Bregman first. Missed outside. This will be his 12th game of the year. 20 strikeouts in 11 innings pitched. Again missed outside. There's a strike.
Chad Green had an easy 6th inning. Manager Aaron Boone going to Betances, who's been throwing the ball a lot better lately.
Cadillac scoreboard, 0-0 here in the bottom of the 7th. Bregman, Gonzalez, and Gaddis. And there's a strike, 2-2.
Gonzalez on deck. Bregman, very patient hitter. You notice that high on base percentage, 20 walks on the year, only 16 strikeouts. He's not afraid to go deep in the count. Took the first pitch, he was taken all the way. Really trying to work Betances for a walk here. 380 on base percentage.
Got him with the breaking ball. 1 away.
The old high breaking ball. It's like the long 3-point shot in basketball. It's a good pitch if it works, right? As a pitcher, you know you have to get it in the strike zone, so you end up hanging it a little bit. Bregman trying to work the walk.
Gonzalez takes outside.
Fastball command has gotten better from Dellin Betances.
Grounded up the middle and through for base hit. Squeezes it between Gregorius and Torres. So Gonzalez with a 1-out single.
See, Didi Gregorius playing up the middle, and for me, Flash, if you're going to shift. You know, and if you're going to put 3 guys on the right side and Betances throwing breaking balls, that leaves the hole right there because Torres is way over in the hole, and Didi's kind of in nowhere land, and you know, playing right up the middle.
Here's Gaddis, and that one gets past Sanchez. He had no chance as Gonzalez moves to second. Betances yanked that pitch. Obviously, Dellin becomes a different pitcher with people on base.
Trying to speed up his delivery. And you're exactly right, Michael. Sanchez has no chance on this one. Notice the leg kick from Betances now with a man on second. He'll go much higher.
1-1.
A cross up right there. Gary Sanchez going to go out and have a talk. Expecting a breaking ball, and he got 97. Lucky he didn't get hurt.
It's like a hockey goalie there, right? Just stab it.
Well, I'll tell you what, the heart rate just went up.
I did that to Rick Cerrone once, the former Yankee catcher who's playing with the Mets. Same thing, hit him right in the middle of the chest protector, no leather. Knocked the wind out of him. He still hasn't forgiven me. Sanchez, a good job just to get leather on that.
Two and one.
Well, it's a scary feeling if you're Gary Sanchez back there. You've already been crossed up, a couple of breaking balls that have been yanked down and away, and you almost feel like a hockey goalie, like where is this next one going to be? You have to cover the whole plate. Not real comfortable right now.
Another high breaking ball. This one called for a strike. That beard has a bird's nest quality to it. As Gaddis stares in. Way outside, 3-2.
That's a great play just to get to that breaking ball right there. I mean, that's missing by 2 plates at least off the plate away. Just hoping that you react.
Gonzalez dancing off second, held there by Torres, and Betances steps off. Awkward swing just to stay alive and foul off the breaking ball.
Well, it's 3-2. You got to throw for a strike, and he does. And you're right, Michael. Off his feet.
It's an interesting swing.
Nothing. Gonzalez is at second. 1 man out. We're in the bottom of the 7th. He struck him out. Dialed up the fastball, 2 away.
Well, Dellin, whenever he gets 3-2, he throws that breaking ball so much, and he's able just to power a fastball right by Gaddis. Again, it's right down the middle. Another look on Yesmo.
Good job. Sanchez calling it. Betances executing. Little snappage.
Here's Brian McCann, who used to catch Betances with the Yankees, now trying to catch one of his fastballs or breaking balls. Foul back.
I mean, there was a time last year when Betances started to struggle, and Yankee fans know this, and anybody who's seen him pitch knows this, that when he becomes too predictable, and it's breaking ball, and his fastball becomes non-existent, he's doing himself a disservice. To be able to throw that pitch there, to get that strikeout on the fastball, really is a game changer for Dellin. You put the mystery back into it, to the hitter.
Now, I don't know if there's going to be a trip because Gonzalez is down on his knee at second base, I think tying his shoe, and that's when Sanchez went out.
It's a trip.
Called it a trip. So 2 trips just in this 1/2 inning. count 0-1 on McCann, 0 for 2 in this game. And the pitch. 0-2. And the pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3. Dellin is dealing, and we go to the 8th. Home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. So Dellin Betances got to the dugout. And a long talk with Larry Rothschild, who had to be pleased with the way his big right-hander pitched there in the 7th. We go to the 8th inning. Tyler Austin leads off against Verlander, and there's a strike. Verlander, 13 strikeouts and no walks. Since 1908, there have been only 3 other pitchers that have pitched against the Yankees had 13 or more strikeouts and no walks. One of them is Urban Shocker. He did it in 1920 for the St. Louis Browns. He had 14 strikeouts. Another one is Curt Schilling in 1997 for the Phillies. He had 16 strikeouts and no walks. And then Pedro Martinez in 99 for Boston. He had 17 strikeouts and no walks. And right here so far, Verlander, 13 strikeouts and no walks. So just 4 times since 1908.
I saw 2 of those games. Schilling, 97. In Philly at the old vet. Derek Jeter had the famous line after that game. What did he have? What was he throwing? I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see any of it. Pedro Martinez at Yankee Stadium. A tremendous effort that night. Urban Shocker, one of the great names. Love that name.
You weren't there for that one?
I wasn't there for that one. It sounded like a night out with David Wells, maybe.
2-2. Grounded in the hole. Correa backhands, throws to first, got him. What a play by Carlos Correa. Take a hit away from Austin.
Watching Correa yesterday taking ground balls and throwing the ball across the diamond, and it just jumps out of his hand. To be able to show the range going to his right, to get to the ball is a good play, and then strong throw right on the money.
No plant. Usually you see shortstops plant. That's just wheel and deal. Pure arm strength.
Here's Gleyber Torres. He has struck out twice against Verlander and takes a breaking ball for a strike. High fly ball, right field. Springer puts it away for the second out. We saw earlier David Robertson warning for the Yankees in their bullpen. A lot of responsibility for the bullpen when your starter goes one inning, and so far they have accepted that responsibility, and they've done a great job. Chris Davinsky, we saw him yesterday. He's up for the Astros. Yankees are saying, please bring him in.
A high pitch count this year for Verlander, 109.
Here's Gardner, 0 for 2, and was hit by a pitch to start the game. There's a strike. There isn't any high number inning in there at all. In fact, the highest is the third inning with 17 pitches. And that was when Gregorius laid down a bunt single. That's the last Yankee to get on. "15 in a row since that bunt have been retired." And the pitch. One and two. He strikes him out. Another 1-2-3 inning for Verlander. Still no runs in this game. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Nothing on yes.
bullpen, which has matched him zeros for zeros. Domingo Germán threw 4 quality shutout innings against the Houston Astros. And then it's going to be Chad Green. He came in, was dominant, a 1-2-3 inning for Green. Dellin Betances comes in. He's going to get 3 strikeouts. The Yankee bullpen doing its job, especially Germán, 4 quality innings, getting it to the back end, and now David Robertson.
So Robertson comes on, and he's going to face Josh Reddick, who is going to pinch hit for Jake Marisnick. And it looks like that will be it for Verlander as he accepts congratulations in the Astros dugout. And with his 14 strikeouts, that ties his career high. And both times it was against the Yankees. Hyundai scoreboard, 0-0. Checks his swing, 1-1. Giles is up. He looked overpowering last night to close out the game. Ground ball, Tyler Austin. Flips to Robertson, 1 away. Here's George Springer. He's 1 for 3. Line to single off the glove of Andujar in the 3rd. And that was off of Domingo Germán. We're in the bottom of the 8th, 0-0. First 2 games of this series, pressure pack, crowd into it, teams into it, great pitching, good defensive plays. And yesterday, both teams talked after the game how it was a playoff atmosphere here at Minute Maid Park.
You know, Michael, you and I were there in Toronto. It was back on April 1st when Robertson gave up that big grand slam to Justin Smoke. Talked to him after that game. His ERA was 18 after that game. He said, it's going to take me a month to get my ERA respectable again. Well, here we are a month later. And with a scoreless outing here, he'll be back in the 2s with his ERA. Pretty good comeback in about exactly 1 month.
2-2. 3-2 on Springer. Since that Smoke home run, he's given up 1 run in 12 1/3 innings. Springer down on strikes, 2 away. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Altuve is 0 for 3 tonight. One and 0. And a strike.
Yankees looking at Aaron Judge leading off next inning. Go right through Judge, Gregorius, and Stanton. Ready to go. Robertson looking to get this one over quickly here. And easier said than done with Altuve in the box.
Just missed with the fastball, 2-1. 2-2.
Altuve only has 2 home runs so far this year, but at this point in the game, you get to the situation you're thinking one big swing of the bat. Try to get this game to your closer. Had a pretty good swing at a breaking ball there.
It looked like he was sitting on it.
Yeah.
Trying to launch.
Has a 5-game hitting streak. And he's 0 for 3. And Duhar close to the line at third. Gleyber Torres shades up the middle. That one's fouled off. And the 2-2. No bite on that one. 3-2.
Saw a little double tap there. That's something Robertson's been working on. He tried to drop down, change his arm angle a little bit there. That's something that he talked to me about. You know, and you watch the tap of the toe, kind of a toe tap, and then try to drop down a little bit. Not a lot of conviction behind it.
Yeah.
But that's what he was trying to do.
There's a base hit to left field for Altuve. So that extends his hitting streak to 6 straight. And it'll bring up Correa with a runner on first and 2 outs.
Came back with a more conventional breaking ball and left it up. And Altuve covers it.
Well, you talk all the time of kind of losing a feel on your breaking ball. Can a little toe tap or dropping down for somebody who's not used to it maybe? Oh, the worst pitch he threw the whole inning there.
Here's the dangerous Correa, 0 for 2 with a walk. The walk was in the 4th inning. From the bottom of the 8th, it's 0-0. Astros with 6 hits, Yankees with 3. Fastball strike, 0-1. Altuve leads off first, held by Austin. Goes at the fastball again, swing and a miss, 0-2.
Higher than high. And a snow cone from Gary Sanchez back there.
A lot of the right side of the infield is open as Torres shades up the middle, and Austin holds the runner at first. Swing and a miss. Correa down on strikes. 8 innings of scoreless baseball. A pitcher's duel. Old-fashioned hardball. We go to the 9th. homegrown, the path to pinstripes is back. Don't miss this real-life, behind-the-scenes look at the Scranton Rail Riders and see top prospects like Gleyber Torres get the call of a lifetime. Catch the return of Homegrown next Tuesday at 11, only on Yes. Ken Giles takes over after Verlander's strong 8. He was super yesterday. This is his 12th game. Picked up 34 saves last year, had a 2.30 ERA, but in 7 postseason games, 11.74 ERA, and lost the closing job and lost the trust of A.J. Hinch. Actually gave up 3 runs in 3 innings over 3 ALCS games against the Yankees.
Well, you mentioned how good he was last night, but the Yankees will take this matchup. They've seen enough of Verlander. Let's get somebody else in there, a little different look, and you mentioned it, Coney, 2, 3, 4.
(3-0) on Judge. Verlander did not walk a Yankee in 8 innings, and quickly Giles is 3-0. And there's a walk. Oh, late strike call as Judge was tossing away the bat, and a labored call by Wegner.
Certainly high enough. Wegner's been pretty consistent back there. Not a lot of looks from either side.
Line to right field. It is a base hit. Outfielders playing deep. Judge picks up a single.
Well, you love the approach. I mean, Aaron Judge so big and strong, he can drive the ball out to right field, obviously, but doesn't try to pull, looks for a ball out over the plate, just stays right on it, down through it, bullet to right field.
Here's Didi Gregorius. A lot of Yankee fans here with the Didi chant. Lined into left center field. It is a base hit. Judge round second. He's going to third. The throw coming to second. Didi Gregorius is in there with a double. And the Yankees are set up. Second and third and nobody out.
Sometimes you just need a different look at a new pitcher in there out of the game, a reliever. Aaron Judge starts it, and Didi finishes it up here. Bullet to left center field. It's struggling a little bit lately, but just a sweet swing there. The play is right in front of Aaron Judge. He doesn't need Phil Nevin, his third base coach. He's in the third easily. Gregorius, the head first slide, and the Yankees all set up.
Infield comes in halfway for Stanton. Second and third, nobody out. And the pitch. 0-1.
We see Stanton when he's at his best is driving the ball the other way, just completely off balance right now. He's dominated by Verlander, a couple of strikeouts, fastballs up in the zone. Situational hitting here, you got to look for something out over the plate, something you can elevate. Fly ball to center field gets the job done.
1-1. Springer has moved to center. And Reddick isn't right, as Reddick pinch hit for Marisnik. Swing and a miss. All year he's been having trouble with that pitch and the elevated fastball.
It's so much easier to say it than to do it, but you just got to put this ball in play. Find a way to shorten up.
Check the swing on a ball in the dirt.
McCann just smothers this ball too behind the plate. And yes, he did check. Throw it in the dirt, McCann's got you.
Great angle with his upper body towards the playing field.
Stanton looking for a signature moment in his early Yankee career. Swing and a miss. It's not that one, as he goes down on strikes.
Well, Giles throws 100 miles an hour and comes right out first pitch breaking ball on a dandy, and then misses down with the fastball to keep him honest, and then gets him to chase. Spits on it, and then another one that's very hittable and up. And that's the one that's going to sting a little bit tonight. You know, you beat on a good slider, okay, but that one hung a bit.
Just off balance, Coney. You know, he's falling over. Doesn't look like he's settled, not picking the baseball up. You know what this conversation's about. First base is open. Gary Sanchez at the plate, followed by Aaron Hicks and Andujar, a young hitter. Do you just walk him, set up the double play? Do you pitch carefully to him? A lot of closers don't like to intentionally walk people.
Sanchez had one of the 3 hits against Verlander. Infield is still in. High fly ball, deep center. Going back, Springer. Still back, still back, still back. See ya! A 3-run home run for Sanchez. And the Yankees take a 3-0 lead. How can you possibly not walk him there?
Pitching coach comes out to the mound. They have a long conversation, and the first pitch from Giles ends up a long way from home plate, a 3-run home run. Like I said, sometimes you're better off just intentionally walking somebody instead of trying to pitch around him. A lot of closers have that ego. I don't want to pitch around somebody. I don't want to walk him. He goes right at Sanchez, and he pays the price.
Well, he got away with a hanging slider on Stanton. Not this time. Comes in at 88 miles an hour right down the middle. A spinning, hanging slider. It left about 109.2 miles an hour and landed about 423 feet away.
Pitch to Hicks is high. The 3 runs on that one swing, the most runs the Yankees have scored here in the last 7 games.
You leave those sliders belled high, they get belted a long way.
You look at Sanchez's average after that home run, 214, and you say that's disappointing. But he has 27 runs batted in and 8 home runs, so the production is certainly there.
After a terrible start to the season, he's picking it up big time. To be able to make that kind of contact and know right away this ball is going to be a 3-run home run, that's impressive.
So Giles, who looked pretty unhittable last night, not tonight. Ripped inside the line and down the right field line. Kicks out to Reddick, and that will hold Hicks at first with a single. An absolute bullet. And here comes A.J. Hinch. He's seen enough. So Verlander nearly untouchable for 8 innings. They turn it over to their closer in a tie game after 8. And Giles was not untouchable. Yankees lead 3-0 as the Stros go to the pen. This out. Ken Giles hits Ken Giles hard. He just punched himself in the face. Wow. Well, now they turn it over to Will Harris. Good numbers for Harris. The entire bullpen has pitched well. So what we just saw from Giles was a rare blip for them. Here's Andujar. Runner goes. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Hicks.
Hicks, a good jump. Brian McCann, who's always relied on trying to get rid of the ball quickly, doesn't have the strongest throwing arm. Accurate thrower, quick release. We see the jump that Aaron Hicks had. Throws right on the money, just a little late.
Gary Sanchez won Thursday's game against the Twins with a walk-off home run. He won Sunday's game with a 447-foot two-run home run, the only 2 runs the Yankees scored in that 2-1 victory over the Angels. And now, if the Yankee bullpen holds on in the bottom of the ninth, he would have won this game as well. Grounded foul. Chapman is up, ready to go. Chop foul. foul.
I'm still stunned. Giles punching himself in the face. I've never seen that.
Imagine if he actually put himself in concussion protocol with his own punch.
Might have to get back, get another look at that in Yesmo. In slow motion look just to see, you know. This coming from a guy, obviously, who, you know, argued with an umpire and watched 2 runs score, so.
Chop slowly left side. Bregman will get Andujar for the second out as Hicks will move to third. And here's some Yesmo of a self-inflicted punch.
Brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
Like a wrestling move right there, though. He didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It looked worse in regular time.
So you're saying he didn't hit himself flush?
I'm saying he sold it a little bit.
Okay.
Eye wash? A little eye wash?
Little eye wash. The throwing of the bat, maybe a little more eye wash in the dugout.
Tyler Austin takes low.
The thing that stings the most for the Astros is the wasting or potential wasting of Verlander's outing tonight. It's another example of how one-loss records are very deceiving with starting pitchers, but just a dominant outing, potentially down the drain. 8 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 14 Ks. You sign up for that, you walk home tonight, wow. You're staring at a big L, not Verlander, but the team.
And on the flip side, you think about the Yankees standpoint, you lose your starting pitcher after 1. Domingo Germán is the star of the game for 4 innings. Sanchez going to get all of the accolades, and rightfully so, but Germán, what a job he did.
Yeah, you feel like you're...
Here comes Hicks. The ball gets away, and he slides in with the run. Yankees lead 4-0. So wild pitch and great base running by Hicks.
Brian McCann has been so good at blocking the ball tonight. The angle with the upper body a little bit upright, and it deflects off of him towards Houston's dugout. And you're right, Aaron Hicks on that lead foot. Great momentum coming down the line, and a great read. Shuffle, shuffle on that front right foot, gets a good jump.
The Yankees looking to steal this game. Just stole the 4th run.
Ground ball to Altuve, and that will do it here in the 9th inning. But what a 9th inning. A lot of decisions that will be looked over and over and over again. Brent Strom, the pitching coach, said, what do you want to do? First base is open. I want to pitch to Sanchez. Bad idea. A gut punch, and then a chin punch. the WB Mason postgame as Bob, Jack, and Meredith will break down all the action here in Houston. It is only on Yes. What a game it's been. As John mentioned, you know, the headline's going to go to Gary Sanchez, the big 3-run home run. But the Yankee bullpen is the star of this game after Jordan Montgomery left the game after one strong 1-2-3 inning. He had to leave the game with a stiffness in his left elbow. He's returning to New York to get that examined by Yankee team physician Dr. Christopher Ahmad. But after that, all zeros by the bullpen, and now it's Chapman's turn. This is not a save situation. The Yankees are up by 4. So Herman, 4 innings, scoreless. Chad Green, scoreless inning. Betances, scoreless inning. Robertson, scoreless inning. And now Aroldis Chapman. And despite having to make up 8 innings out of the bullpen, it doesn't put their bullpen in a bad situation, because if there is something wrong with Montgomery where he can't make his next start, Herman's going to be the guy who probably fills in, David, and then everybody else win an inning. So the bullpen will be fine tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody's lined up. Herman was probably your next in line to be a starter. Other candidates as well down in the minor leagues. Herman is stretched out and did a great job tonight. Interesting as a side note, Yankee prospect lefty Justice Sheffield tonight, pitching for Trenton in Double-A, 6 innings, 3 hits, 9 Ks. No earned runs. He continues to progress and probably is in line for a AAA call-up almost at this point. And of course, the first and foremost is that the Yankees hope Jordan Montgomery gets a good visit from the doctor. Nothing serious. Yankees bullpen tonight kind of got their own version of their shutout going. 10 strikeouts and 7 innings pitched collectively.
Swing and a miss. Gurriel strikes out against his countryman. Aroldis Chapman one away.
A little life on the fastball, little run away from Gurriel.
There have been 26 strikeouts in this game and 13 hits between the two teams. So it continues what's happened in April. More strikeouts and hits in Major League Baseball for the first month ever. So we're starting off May this way. Bregman takes out of the zone, 1-0. Two and 0 to Bregman, who was 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls to right and a strikeout. Yankees trying to even this up in a game apiece. 2 more games to go. We're back again tomorrow at 7. There's a strike. Luis Severino will get the start for the Yankees. Our batting practice show starts at 7. 7:30 pregame, and right around 8 o'clock, first pitch from Minute Maid. And the old Yankee tormentor, who has not pitched well this year so far, Dallas Keuchel, will be on the mound. So a good matchup. The first 2 games have been so much fun. Nail biters right down to the last out. This one down to the last inning. And a 2-2 count now on Bregman. Swing and a miss. Bregman down on strikes, and the Astros down to their final out.
Aroldis snaps it off. 4-run lead. Think she's going to get challenged? No, you're not. I'm going to pad my stats on the K-ball side.
So here's Marwin Gonzalez, 4-0 Yankees, bottom of the 9th inning. Oh and 1.
This has sort of been a continuation. You know, I joke about that slider that Chapman just threw, but it's of a higher quality this year. He's getting more depth on it, more confidence in that pitch. Potentially is going to serve him well the rest of the way. That's a strike. He didn't get the call. It's on the borderline low, but that's high quality. Good depth to it, good release point. Last year we saw Chapman's slider. It was flatter on the same plane. That's really good.
Gets the strike call there. 1 and 2, and Houston down to its final strike. Many in the crowd have departed after the Sanchez home run. And now Chapman trying to make it official. And the lefty deals. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side, and the Yankees win 4-0. It's the first Yankee shutout of the year, and it comes in a game where their starter goes just 1 inning. So a lot of credit goes around, and the big question at the end of this one, why pitch to Gary Sanchez? And that's something that A.J. Hinch is going to have to answer, David.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you know, that's the ultimate question in a pitcher's duel of a game. That was the decision that's going to be talked about. Give Sanchez credit. He's up there ready to swing the bat, and the Yankees absolutely stole this game from the Astros.
They stole the game.